We drive cars, we form opinions, and we tell you whether you should put your money on them or not. But today, this is not a review. Rather, on paper, it is a journey, but no less than a recreation for us. We are at the 10th edition of Honda's Drive to Discover, traveling from Bangalore to Goa. 3 days, 800 kilometers, and I think there's a lot of fun in store for us.
With all honesty, there was an air of skepticism ahead of the D2D. But I must say Honda did pretty well in keeping the COVID fear at the bay. My ride for day one was the new Honda City, a sedan that's held in high regards. Comfortable, spacious, well equipped, and the 1.5 litre IV-Tech engine is delightful to rev on the highways. Bangalore to Hassan took about 3 hours, but the attraction came by the end of it, the Yagachi Dam. It might not be the most happening of places, but certainly rejuvenated us with calmness and serenity after a rather long day. Sun sunk into the horizon and we drove our way uphill to Trivik Resorts in Chikmagalur, a plush property nestling in the coffee estates. Life, as they say, is a journey and not destination. And the journey I am in, the 10th edition of Honda's Drive to Discover, I really don't want this to get over. But really, we don't have a say over the time. And that is my drive of the day, the Honda Amaze. We had a brilliant night in Chikmagalur and now we are heading out from Bangalore. Stay tuned as we tell you more about this epic journey. Little did I know drive of day 2 would be through a variety of terrain. The coffee estates that we hardly could see at the dusk looked majestic in daylight. Scorching summer, still some time around, the serpentine roads from Chikmagalur to Dharmasthala and further down the north were draped in green. I have liked the Honda Amaze simply because of its handling, performance and braking, and little did it do wrong to disappoint. Afternoon, around 3 on the clock, we arrived Bengaluru, which was also the beginning point of the coastal belts of our trip. 200 odd kilometers on the Amaze, it was time to shift the luggage to WRV. A brief pause at Bengaluru and we headed out for Udupi and further down.
Mangalore to Manipal. As we speak, we are coming to an end of the day 2. And it has been all about the red soil, palm trees and the open highways along the Western Ghat. And often in trips like these, it's all about the food, the feel and the camaraderie among the members participating. Surely I enjoyed them, but the biggest takeaway for me in the trip has to be the IV-Tech engine. Whether it is the City, Amaze, Jazz or the WRV, the IV-Tech is such a pleasing petrol engine to drive. It doesn't come with a turbo or gimmicks like those, but it has got its own feel. There's a huge amount of torque on offer and you feel connected to it whenever you have your foot on the pedal.
The stay at Kandapura was more strategic than anything else. An early checkout and the expectations were really high as we were about to dip into Goa. A bright and sunny day. I think the last day of the 10th edition of Honda's Drive to Discover is going to be slightly different because we are driving along the northern part of Karnataka and would be heading to Goa. So the landscape is changing thick and fast. The roads are not. They are extremely fantastic to drive. In fact, the car I have with me today is the Honda Jazz as well. On the way, we are going to have some beautiful beaches, some Goan food and a few temples like these. Murudeshwara temple holds high ground in Hindu mythology, especially due to reference in Ramayana. The second tallest Shiva idol in the world is a sight to behold. A few scenic beaches, patches of backwater, and a few important towns like Udupi crossed us by. By noon, we were into Karwar, the port town and geographically the last part of Northern Karnataka. As the trip was quickly coming to an end, the constant thought of what did I discover was playing in the back of my mind. Sticking my neck out of the window, the jazz flowed into the beautiful tarmac of Goa. The breeze calmed me down. I think the D2D10 was about finding freedom, which COVID in many ways has stolen from us. A familiar place, a familiar car, but an experience that I would really hold close to my heart. Thanks to Honda for inviting me over for the 10th edition of Drive to Discover that culminates today in Goa. I think this was a much needed respite after such a horrible 2020. All I can wish, all I can pray is that the IVTechs and IDTechs continue to charm your world like for the years it has done and in years to come as well. That's all we have for you. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned with Times of India Auto for further news and updates.